In the corner of a cluttered living room, a man grins at his camera, wearing toe socks with sandals and a yellow hoodie. Behind him, a punching bag and an orange tabby cat lounging on the floor. He's holding a long cardboard box.
Ninja stuff,
he whispers. But inside it,
he just killed that boy. He just killed him.
Drop it! Drop the sword!
Marcus Monzo wasn't known by many. He was 36, lived in East London, worked odd jobs, and he was not on the radar of police or even his neighbors, as he often spent most of his time alone. Over the years, Marcus immersed himself in obscure online communities, spiraling deeper into conspiracy theories, spiritual detoxes, energy cleanses, and stories of evil powers watching from behind the sky. He lived in a mental haze of his own making, obsessed with strange diets, strange beliefs, and, increasingly, strange behavior. He spent his days living under the increasing belief that everything was going wrong in the world, that information was being kept from him by everyone around him, and that something major was coming. At the end of 2023, Marcus's online activity brought him to a website selling swords of all shapes and sizes. After browsing the site, he ended up placing a large order containing multiple swords totaling over £1,000. But for reasons still unknown, he cancelled it almost immediately. Then, in early April of 2024, a box appeared at his doorstep. This time, the order had gone through. 2 handmade Japanese katanas purchased on February 21st for just over £400. He brought the package inside, set the camera up, and pressed record.
I don't generally make reviews on the amazing products I purchase.
Marcus props the phone up as he stands in the center of the frame. Behind him, a punching bag, a skateboard, and black gym mats. At his feet, his cat, who he calls the Wizard.
I'm here with the Wizard. And this just came through the post. And this is very ninja stuff. So, sort of.
He opens the box slowly. He holds it up to the light, swings it gently. There's a calmness to it, making what comes next all the more shocking. According to Marcus's own account, in the following days, he started experiencing what he called guidance and communication from unknown voices in his head. He became convinced that supernatural or negative forces were the reason, going so far as to believe that his cat, the Wizard, was being used against him by malign entities that he couldn't see. These alleged voices began to grow louder more rapidly, and after just a few weeks, in the early morning hours of April 30th, 2024, Marcus snapped. Sometime before 7 a.m., Marcus woke up, and in a bizarre fit of rage, he strangled his cat before skinning and deboning it, essentially butchering it with the sword. The voices in his head allegedly telling him that the cat was possessed by demonic forces, and that he needed to, quote, replenish himself by consuming it. After killing the cat, he attempted to cook it, only to end up stashing the remains in his van for later, because he allegedly didn't have enough time. He was currently in the middle of an imagined apocalyptic scenario, needing to complete his, quote, mission before the world would come to an end. Armed with the katana, Marcus left home in his gray Ford Transit cargo van, driving onto a quiet street in Hainault, a large suburban area in East London. At 6:50 a.m., he spotted a man, 33-year-old security guard Donato Iwule, walking to work. Without warning, Marcus accelerated toward him. The van struck Iwule at high speed, launching him into a nearby garden. The crash wrecked the vehicle, and bystanders rushed to help, thinking it was an accident. Then Marcus stepped out, sword in hand. Iwule, dazed and bleeding, tried to stand. Monzo walked up to him smiling while raising the blade over his head.
I don't know you.
Iwule shouted.
I don't care,
Monzo said.
I'm going to kill you.
He slashed him across the neck. Iwule managed to escape by climbing over a fence, severely injured but alive. Nearby, 14-year-old Daniel Angerin, unaware of the brutal violence unfolding nearby, was simply walking to school with his headphones in. After the initial attack, Marcus turned his attention away from the fleeing man, now seeing Daniel. He ran up from behind and struck the boy in the head and neck with the sword with such immense force, he nearly decapitated him. Daniel immediately collapsed to the pavement, reports claiming he died almost instantly. Marcus stood over his body and shouted in triumph before stabbing him again and taking his backpack. A neighbor who witnessed the murder said it looked like he was celebrating.
He just killed that boy. He just killed him.
Police arrived on the scene within minutes. Marcus fled into a maze of gardens, chased by PC Yasmin Meckham Whitfield. When she caught up to him, she attempted to use pepper spray to disorient him. Unfazed, he turned and attacked her with the sword, striking her 3 times.
Police officer stopped! Police officer stopped! Right! Yas has been stopped!
Causing her to fall to the pavement, her blood staining the ground in front of her. Another officer, Inspector Malloy Campbell, was also slashed in the hand while trying to disarm him. Still armed, Monzo jumped fences and broke into a nearby home. Inside, a couple was asleep with their 4-year-old daughter beside them. Monzo burst into their bedroom, slashing them both as they tried to protect their child. He kept shouting,
Do you believe in God?
The attack only stopped when the little girl began crying. Monzo backed off and ran out of the house. Outside, police had locked down the area. They found Monzo in a driveway around 7:22 a.m., where he was still holding the sword. When they ordered him to surrender, he instead continued muttering incoherently, refusing to drop the sword. It finally took multiple officers with tasers to bring him down, and by 7:25 a.m., Marcus Monzo was in custody. The bloody rampage was over.
The 36-year-old man arrested at the scene is currently in hospital, having suffered injuries when his van collided with a building. He has been arrested on suspicion of murder. At this time, given his injuries, we have been unable to interview him.
He's a young boy, he's about 16 years old. He was coming out of his house, he was putting his earphones in. As he was putting his earphones in, about 10 metres away from the door, she screamed to warn him that the man has a sword. And he, as he's turned round, he's waved the sword, and it's struck him in the side of the head.
At that point, I think the blade came down my arm, cutting my fleece, and then nicking my hand on the way out. The only feeling I had was the need to complete what had to be done, which was disarming Monzo and ultimately the preservation of life.
During the trial, Marcus claimed he wasn't in control of his actions. He talked about the alleged voices he'd been hearing and how he'd believed the world was ending. At one point, he described himself as a professional assassin trapped in something like the Hunger Games, claiming that his mind had splintered into different personalities, each with their own purpose. Experts confirmed he was in a state of psychosis supposedly brought on by using cannabis that morning, though it had been building to this point for years, fueled by isolation, obsession, and heavy drug use. But on June 25th, 2025, Monzo's plea of diminished responsibility was rejected. Marcus was found guilty on every major count: the murder of Daniel Angerin, 3 attempted murders, 1 charge of wounding with intent, aggravated burglary, and possession of deadly weapons. He had already admitted to owning the swords. The only charge reduced was a single attempted murder, reclassified as wounding. A minor technicality in the shadow of what he'd done. On June 27th, Marcus Monzo was sentenced to life in prison for the murder, among other offenses from the day of the attack. Justice was served, but it's a hollow victory for a life that can never be returned.
This has been a painful and deeply traumatic chapter in our lives. No verdict or sentence can bring back our son Daniel, who we love so dearly, but we are grateful that justice has been served. Daniel was taken from us in a way that no family should ever have to endure. His life had so much potential ahead. He was gifted academically, was kind, and had a generous spirit that touched everyone who knew him. We carry that light with us, even in this dark time. We want to express our deepest thanks to the police, prosecution team, and all those who work tirelessly to seek the truth. Your dedication has meant more than words can fully convey. To everyone who supported us through this ordeal, friends, family, our church, our workplaces, our children's schools, and even strangers, thank you. Your love and support has been a lifeline. We honor Daniel's memory, not in the shadow of this tragedy, but through the love and happiness that he brought to us and all those who knew him. Thank you.